Hello and welcome to God is Waiting for You. Today we're talking about living one day at a time, overthinking, and also anxiety. I don't know if I'm gonna name this title of this video yet, but I know that I'm gonna talk about these three topics. I feel like this goes all well together because I feel like living one day at a time and not stressing about another day leads to overthinking and then anxiety. So to start with, I always like to make some notes before I start these. I don't know if I said this in a video already, but I like to make some notes. And I was kind of confused living, so I put living one day at a time, and also it includes anxiety and also overthinking. So to start with, I'll be talking about overthinking, anxiety, and living one day at a time. And a Bible verse that I want to share that goes really well with this topic is Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. While we're also thinking about tomorrow, we're also forgetting that we're living a day today. We have to just take one day at a time, as Jesus tells us in this verse, and to just leave everything in His hands. I feel like this is something that we struggle with most nowadays. We like to worry about what happens tomorrow instead of focusing on what today is. We have to leave everything in His hands and let go and let God. And when we keep thinking about tomorrow and the things it is in it, we're doubting His presence and what He's able to do in that day. So I always like to look definitions in case I don't really know what I'm talking about. So first, when I searched up anxiety, it's an emotion that includes a feeling of being worried or the tension. And two verses I really feel like this goes well with anxiety in the way of being anxious is Philippians 4:6 and 1 Peter 5:7. So to start with, in Philippians 4:6, it talks about do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. I feel like many times we don't pray, and because that's such an important thing. Power prayer is so powerful that we may not even realize at the moment, but it really can do miracles, even though we can't see it. We can be in the valleys of silence and God not hearing us. We may think that, but He's always working behind the scenes and always hearing our prayers. And He can heal anything that you've been carrying for a long time. We just have to trust in His hands and believe in Him. So that's what it means basically for the first verse I said in Philippians 4:6. It's basically saying pray about everything and worry about nothing. I feel like different translations it says about that, but this translation says this one. So then the other verse I want to share is in 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. And what I always like to do before I talk about this verse is I would like to go in the Bible app, and also in the Bible app you can search up whatever you're feeling. You can be anxious or anxiety, and then it shows you multiple verses that can go really well with this. And even this verse talks about and says the word anxiety that we may not think it's not in the Bible, but everything's in the Bible, even though we may not see it. So it says, cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. Even though we may be feeling worried or have tension and everything, remember that God is always with you and He hears your prayers. He can heal everything that you're stressed about, but we have to remember to let go and let God. Even in the midst of the valleys, we have to trust in His hands and believe in Him that His power and how His presence can do really big things. If you really think about it, stressing out and anxiety and all those things really just drag us away from God, and it doesn't bring us closer to Him because we're kind of stressing out so much when God is I'm here. He's there to help you. And the verse that I wanted to share, I was gonna say at the end of this video, but I think I'm gonna say now, Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Even though we may not see it, He's always with us. He will strengthen us, and no matter what circumstance we're in, He's gonna lift us up every time. Every time we fall, He's gonna lift us up. I feel like Psalms is such a good book to talk about this because even though people are passing through David and multiple other writers that said wrote in Psalms, even though they're passing through situations and valleys in life, people not liking them, their enemies trying to do stuff with them, they always said that at the end of the verses that they still praise God. They're even praying it was a prayer to God. And I feel like that's so important because even though they were passing through the situations they were in, they were really telling God, basically their best friend, about everything. Even though we may be feeling these things, God has so much power and He can heal us from everything. and he can take away the stress. He can take away, like, even though we may not like we may have enemies and all this stuff, we have to love our enemies just like Jesus tells us. And I also made a video about this. It was like loving your enemies even if it hurts or it's hard. So I feel like that's so important to talk about, because many times we like to skip that part, to let go and let God and let him truly work and continue to work in our lives. I have two Bibles I love to use, and the first one is really like just like connection with God, and this one's like I use it to preach, like this Bible, because the other one I have is like has a lot of notes and everything. So this one I like to just like write, like highlight the most like important, like not important because like everything's important, but like the verses that sometimes we might need when we pass through challenges and situations. Like cast all your anxiety on him can be a really good one to highlight and everything, and that's what I always love to do. Like I haven't really like worked in this too much, but I want to highlight like this Bible is gonna basically be using for highlighting these verses, and these verses I want to like use in preaches, or I want to just carry on through my life. So I feel like reading the Bible is so important for our lives, even though we may like feel like it's like so hard to get to it, or like feel distance from him. We can't let those feelings drag us away from him. We have to remember that he is faithful, he was just, and he's like a God of just forgiveness. Even though we wander away from him, he always brings us back to him, because every road in our life that we may have or go to, it's always the answer of God. It's not the answer of, how you say, the world's things, temporary things like money, fame, popularity. It's never gonna fulfill you in life. That's why even like sometimes like the celebrities and everything, they might like feel so empty, because like you're not really finding that peace because they're not searching for God. You know, God is always there waiting for us no matter how far we have wandered away from him. So some verses I want to share before I end this video is, I was gonna say Isaiah 41:10, but I already said that during the video because I feel like it went so good with the message I was gonna talk about. So another one I want to say is Isaiah 61:10. I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God. Like, even though we may be going through some challenges, remember to rejoice in the Lord, even in the ups and downs. Don't leave him whenever situation comes or circumstance comes in your life. Then, last verse I want to share is in Psalms 91:1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. When we dwell in the house of God always and forever daily, even when we start our mornings and end our days and just keep praying throughout the days, he will really work and continue to work on our lives. I feel like some of my preaches that I wrote, that I did in YouTube, I also post in my shorts and everything, and Instagram and TikTok, they all talk about, like, I would like to talk about different topics. I like to preach about these things, and it's most of all, it's like dwelling in the house of the Lord and wholeheartedly searching for him. I think I did a preach of that like 2 days ago, but it's literally wholeheartedly, because sometimes we only like to include in like a part of our life instead of like giving our whole life to glorify him and him only. This to end this video. I really hope to touch the topics of anxiety, overthinking, and living one day at a time. And that's the end. So I really hope you like this video. Bye!